In the previous saga we got to know the world of the Coinless and the powerful villain Lord Draken. At the end of this saga, Lord Draken traveled to the main universe by accident and was trapped by soldiers. This is the beginning of the Promethea saga, starting in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic book number 17. Bulk and Skull are doing a filming of their show to report all about the Power Rangers and are explaining that even though many think that no one has seen the Rangers after the event with the Dragonzord, they have actually appeared. They report that, despite this incident, the Rangers have a lot of fans and support. Among these people is Grace Sterling. She is a futuristic entrepreneur who has a company called Promethea, which is dedicated to creating technology, but for now they have been helping to rebuild the city after all the Zords battles with Rita's monsters. In a TV interview, Grace explains that now that Rita is not attacking the city, it has given Promethea time to focus on all the new developments they have been creating. The Power Rangers saved the world and now Grace wants to make it a better place. We then see that Kimberly and Trini are on another planet. Apparently, they are trying to escape and are carrying something in their hand. This escape is very dangerous as they are being shot at by laser beams, and it is possible that whatever they are carrying in that bag is something very important. Then we see the monsters that are shooting at them, and the leader of these creatures is called Zosma. They are all attacking with everything they have, while the Rangers ask Jason to help them find a way out since he is in the command center and is the one controlling the mission from there. Jason tells them that they must go to the edge of the city for the teleportation to work and asks Alpha 5, who is controlling the Pink Ranger's Zord, to look for them in that part of the city to get them out of there. On Earth are the other Rangers trying to stop a tornado using the Zords, but at the same time they are trying to get all the people out of that place. Jason is also helping them with that mission, so he is trying to run 2 missions at the same time on 2 different planets. Meanwhile, on planet Tarmac 4, Kimberly and Trini tell Jason that that place is like a maze, so they need a way out and Jason gives them instructions on how to get out of there. On Earth, Tommy, Billy, and Zach are still trying to save people from the tornado, but apparently, it's a very complicated mission. Jason asks Billy to tell them the way they can stop the tornado, and he tells the Rangers that they should freeze the air directly in the tornado's path. Zach prepares his Zord since he can freeze the air with it, but it must be anchored firmly to the ground, so the tornado won't blow it away. Jason tries to warn Kimberly and Trini of an explosion, but he is too late, and the Rangers almost lose their lives. Zach begins to feel the strong winds from the tornado and doesn't know how long he can withstand the winds. Jason asks Zach to hold on and at the same time tells Alpha that Kimberly and Trini need an emergency evacuation now. The creatures from planet Tarmac are about to engage the Rangers and Zach keeps trying to freeze the air from the tornado, but the winds are too strong. Jason keeps asking Zach to resist and then gives the order to Alpha to help the Rangers. The Rangers begin to fight the creatures on the planet and at that moment Alpha arrives to help them. Zach was also able to stop the tornado by freezing all the air, and then Kimberly and Trini grabbed onto the pterodactyl to escape. These have been 2 very complicated missions, but the Rangers let Jason know that they are all okay and, in the meantime, he is relieved at the command center. Jason has had to fulfill Zordon's role while he is gone, so this is very stressful for everyone. Now, all the Rangers gather in the command center to talk about the missions and Trini begins to explain what they were doing on that planet. She and Kimberly were in search of Zordon's staff, which the creatures from that other planet had stolen and now the Rangers got it back. Zosma was obviously not happy that something was stolen from him, but the Rangers know that it did not belong to him. Using this staff, Now Saba along with Alpha can bring Zordon back, as the sword has maintained a link to Zordon through the Morphin Grid. They needed a physical link to him, and Zordon's genetics are in his staff. Kimberly thought they would be back to normal, but Zack tells her that now that Rita is gone, they've been able to help people instead of having to fight monsters, so that's better than normal. Saba and Alpha congratulate the Rangers on all the good work they've accomplished and ask him to give them time to work on Zordon's return. Now the Rangers have a day off after a long time, and everyone has their own plans. Jason offers them to train in the pocket dimension, but Zack says he has a family matter. Tommy and Billy are going to the gym, and Kimberly and Trini are going to be at home. Jason decides to stay at the command center to keep scanning the news for any dangers the Rangers need, so they all leave, and Jason is left alone. There is a lot of news all over the world, and at the same time Jason also scans Rita's palace on the moon. Apparently, all this work has Jason very stressed, and the other Rangers start to notice. Since Billy and Tommy were in the coinless world, they are now closer and both train hard to the point of exhaustion. Despite this, they both feel that Lord Draken and the otherworldly Billy would have tried harder training, so they go back to training again. Kimberly is having a conversation with her mother about the fights she has with her father, and she thinks they can work everything out. Although Kimberly thinks that the problem is very simple to solve, her mother tells her that she can go back to talking to Matthew, and this makes her very angry. Meanwhile, Trini searches through her to-read list and starts reading Grace Sterling's autobiography. At the same time, she is watching TV, but despite all this she is very bored and receives a call from Kimberly to ask her out. The two sit down in the pterodactyl to talk and realize that they are having a very relaxing time. They try to understand the life they lead, as it is difficult to return to normal after having had missions traveling to other planets and other dimensions. They also talk about what is happening to Jason, as Kimberly thinks he is very serious, but Trini feels he has always been that way. Zack returns to the command center and finds Jason asleep, so he advises him to go get some rest. At that moment, they receive an alert about an earthquake in Dubai, and people are afraid that a very famous big building there may collapse. Jason calls the Rangers to get ready to go and help in this earthquake, and then we can see that they use the Megazord and the Dragonzord to hold the building. It is because of these types of situations that Jason has not been able to detach himself from the command center, as he feels that these things can happen at any time. The Rangers celebrate victory for preventing the destruction of the building, but receive a message from Grace Sterling telling them that their downtime is about to end, as she wants to have a very serious conversation with them. Grace Sterling, the owner of Promethea, meets the Rangers as she gets off a helicopter and tells them that she needs to talk something urgent with them. She also says that since she was in Dubai, it occurred to her that she could take the opportunity to talk to them in person since they were in that very place. She then explains to them that there are two airline pilots who got lost near a place that is hidden due to a dense fog, and they have not been able to get communication with them. That strange place does not appear on any map and seems to be invisible to the naked eye. Billy says that the fog is like an illusion to deceive, and then Grace shows them that there are strange creatures in that place, but the Rangers manage to identify that one of those creatures is Finster. This is why Grace wanted to inform the Rangers, as she thinks that this situation is not at the level of the government and the Rangers are the most suitable to take care of everything. After this conversation, the Rangers decide to teleport to this strange place and discover that all the architecture is a combination of the 18th century and the medieval era. Another very peculiar detail is that even though all the architecture is very old, everything looks as if it is new, and this increases the curiosity of the Rangers. Another thing that the Rangers discover is that the place seems to be empty and that it is almost impossible that any other person could reach that place, but they are also sure where Finster must be. Suddenly, two men appear and ask the Rangers if they are also coming to see the Master. The Rangers are not sure what is going on, but they allow the two men to take them to another location so they can find out what is going on. When they arrive at the location, the Rangers can see that there are many people who seem to be waiting for someone, and those same people are surprised by the arrival of the Rangers. At that moment, Zack tells the people that they promised to help them, but Finster interrupts him saying that his villagers don't need any help because they are already perfect. After this, Finster welcomes the Rangers and tells them that he assumes they are here because of the Promethea pilots. The Rangers ask Finster about where Rita is, but he tells them that he has no idea where she is and now, he has some time to focus on his own art. At that point, the people in that place start to transform into putty patrollers, and apparently this is the art Finster was referring to. The Rangers begin to fight, but quickly realize that there are too many enemies, and they have to find a way to destroy many at the same time, so they decide to unite all the weapons to get the power cannon. This is an epic moment. The Rangers fire this great power and manage to destroy many enemies at the same time. There are a lot of putty patrollers blowing up everywhere, but Finster still has another plan up his sleeve. The two men who have been looking for the Rangers are actually two monsters in the shape of an armadillo and a boar. These two monsters go to join the fight, but Tommy tells Jason that they both need to get into the castle to look for the pilots, and Trini tells them that they can leave since the team can handle the other remaining enemies. Both Rangers manage to enter the castle and quickly find the two pilots who were locked in a cell. Despite having found them, the Rangers have doubts as they are afraid that these two humans are not real due to the fact that Finster now knows how to create humans. The pilots plead with the Rangers to help them and tell them that they are real. Outside the castle, the Rangers continue in battle, and the boar monster says that he is the best wizard pig ever created. We can also see that this monster is carrying a staff that has a green stone on it, and apparently, that is what gives him power. Inside the castle, Jason and Tommy decide to free the pilots who confessed to the Rangers that Finster tortured them and was studying them to create his art, so because of this, Grace was looking for Finster. The Rangers are surprised to hear this, but at that moment Finster appears with a strange gun and shoots them all. Outside the castle, the wizard monster decides to launch an attack to freeze the Rangers, but Trini manages to deflect it and the attack is received by the other monster. After this, the Rangers realize that the power comes from the staff, so Kimberly throws an arrow at it to take it away and Zack shoots it with the power axe. In this way, the Rangers manage to defeat all the enemies outside the castle, but they can't imagine what's inside. Jason and Tommy are trapped along with the pilots in what appears to be a mass that has turned into a hard rock, while Finster begins to show them everything he has been doing. Finster spent a long time trying to create creatures disguised as humans, but since humans are very complex, it became very difficult for him to finish his project. While Finster is talking, Jason tries to reach for his blaster so he can destroy the rock until he succeeds. Jason destroys everything in order to free them, and at that moment the other Rangers also arrive, so Finster has no choice but to surrender. Grace manages to get to that strange place with part of her team, and after thanking the Rangers, she tells them that maybe she can turn that place into a refugee center. Jason then tells Grace that the pilots had said she was looking for Finster, and she clarifies that they weren't looking for Finster exactly, they just had information that a lieutenant of Rita's might still be on Earth, so they started looking. Grace takes advantage of the moment to extend an invitation to the Rangers to be part of their team, since with all the reach she has in the world, she can tip off the Rangers so they can solve other situations like these. Even though this seems like a great offer, Jason decides to turn it down and tells Grace that the Rangers are independent, plus it's not a good idea to include civilians in this. Still, Grace tells him that the invitation will always be open, and after that the Rangers say goodbye. At the command center, the Rangers use a pocket dimension so Alpha and Saba can work on trying to bring Zordon back. In the same place they hold Finster as a prisoner, who tries to persuade Saba and Alpha, but Saba orders him to shut up. Outside the pocket dimension, Jason returns to his guard post and Zack is concerned about Jason's health. Because of this, he tells the Red Ranger that they should take Grace up on her offer since he can't keep trying to do everything. Despite this, Jason doesn't want to listen and is still hopeful that Zordon will return, which is why he doesn't want to work with Grace. Zack continues to insist that they should consider Grace's offer because, if Zordon doesn't return, then all of Prometheus' technology will help them find hidden missions like it did with Finster. At that moment, the alarm sounds and both Rangers begin to see on the screen the news about a monster that started as a human and then transformed. With this, the Rangers confirm that there must be more of Finster's creatures, and it will be very difficult to find them since they won't know if they are real humans or disguised monsters. In Spain, there is a man walking quietly down the street, and all around there are many people as they are in a very populated city. Suddenly, this man says that the time has come for them to meet his nightmare, and he starts to transform into a horrible monster that is a combination between a sloth and a bear. These combinations between animals are very important as this may depend on the powers and attacks used by the beast. The new monster begins to destroy the entire city and people try to run for their lives. In a coffee shop in Angel Grove is Kimberly having breakfast with her father, and she tells him that she senses something is going on as it doesn't seem like a casual breakfast. Her father confesses to her that this is true and that he simply wanted to meet with her to give her the good news that he is marrying his new bride. In past stories we had already seen that Kimberly's parents had a lot of marital problems and were always fighting, so apparently, they were already divorced. Kimberly didn't take the news about her father's remarriage very well, and even though she told him that she was happy, she doesn't really seem to be. At the same place Tommy shows up, and Kimberly's father understands that there is some kind of relationship between Tommy and Kimberly. Because of this, he invites Tommy to sit with them, but it is noticed that Tommy is a little shy. This is why Tommy declines Mr. Hart's invitation, and at that moment, Tommy and Kimberly's communicators ring, but Kim's father thinks it's cute that their watches sound the same. Earlier Billy and Tommy had spent several days on Draken's world, and their parents thought they were lost. When the Rangers returned from that other dimension, they teleported under a place to make people think they were trapped all those days, and the firemen were able to get them out. All that rescue had been recorded on video, and now Billy's mother is watching that video again as she can't stop remembering that horrible moment. Because of this, she is excessively worried about Billy and always gets nervous when he has to leave for somewhere. In this occasion Billy had to go out to exercise with Trini, and after having told her everything that is happening with his mother, Trini tells him that it is quite normal after he is supposed to have been lost for several days. Billy hopes that his parents can relax as he is feeling a bit pressured, but at that moment their communicators ring. Kimberly, Tommy, Billy, and Trini teleport to Spain, where the new monster was and where Jason and Zack were already there. Jason warns the Rangers that this monster started out as a human and then transformed, but there is another monster somewhere else. Billy asks about the whereabouts of the other monster and Alpha tells him it's in Toronto, so Jason asks Tommy, Kimberly, and Trini to take care of it. They quickly teleport to Toronto, but this new monster greets them with an electric shock. This new monster has parts of a raven and parts of an electrical system, but the worst part is that Finster had already warned him that someday the Rangers would arrive. In Spain, the other Rangers begin the battle with the other monster, but they quickly begin to see what the powers of this beast are. The first attack is when the monster launches a car at them, but the Rangers are almost unable to dodge it because for some reason the monster takes away their speed. The monster had been launching an attack that made the Rangers super slow, so if they can't move, then they can't dodge the blows. The beast takes advantage of this opportunity and after hitting the Rangers hard, it starts throwing things at the civilians that were around that place. In Toronto, the other Rangers continue to fight against the Crow, but they quickly realize that this monster is very powerful as no attack works. In Spain, the Rangers keep trying to attack the Sloth, but they are so slow in their movements that the monster can move their bodies as it wants. Because of this, Jason tries to attack with his sword, but the monster moves Jason's body close to Zack so that the sword is stuck in the Black Ranger's neck. Fortunately, Billy blasts Zack with the blaster so he can move them and then apologizes to both of them for doing that. Apparently, Zack's blaster shot worked for him as he now has a great idea and asks the other Rangers who are in Toronto to tell him when the Raven starts charging up with energy. Kimberly informs him that right now it is starting to charge so impressively that it looks like it will try to destroy the entire city. Since the Rangers in Spain can't move fast, Zack's idea was to teleport behind the monster to hold it down and then teleport back to Toronto along with the monster. This way all the electric attack of the Crow was received by the Sloth and due to this great attack, the monster explodes. Now there is only one left, and all the Rangers gather with their weapons to attack it. Because the Crow launched a very powerful attack, it now needs to recharge again, and the Rangers take this opportunity to attack it all together. In this manner they destroy the Raven and now both cities are safe thanks to the Power Rangers. At the command center, the Rangers start interrogating Finster and ask him about how many monsters there are. Finster only goes on to say that even he doesn't know how many there are as he spent a long time creating many of these fake humans and now, they are everywhere. Trini asks him if he has any way of tracking them to know when they will transform, but Finster says he doesn't know anything since it's a decided lack of control and that's why this is art, because it's chaotically random. Obviously, the Rangers don't agree that this is art, but Finster says that everyone has their own point of view since art is subjective. In addition to this, he also tells them that they are going to have many opportunities to see for themselves as today was only the beginning. After this interrogation, all the Rangers are reunited and Kimberly asks Saba how long until Zordon returns, but unfortunately, Saba replies that it will still take several days. Jason asks Billy if there will be any way to track these monsters, but he replies that they can only track them after they turn into beasts. Zack is still very persistent and tells Jason that they both know who is the right person who could help in this situation, but Jason is adamant that he doesn't want to involve civilians in this. Just then the alarm sounds due to someone being near the command center and the Rangers can't believe what they are seeing. The person standing at the entrance is Grace Sterling, the owner of Promethea, and she tells the Rangers that there is no time, so they must open up fast. The Rangers teleport out of the command center with their helmets on, so she doesn't recognize them, but Grace says something more impressive and that is that she says she needs to talk to Zordon. The Rangers don't understand what's going on, They don't know how she knows Zordon, and how she knows about this place. On top of this, she greets Alpha as if they have been friends for a long time and tells the Rangers that she knows everything for a simple reason. Jason asks her for that simple reason and Grace replies that she was the Red Ranger.